He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of Gotham. Welcome once again to Bat Minute and Robin, the show that is here to take back the world. From who? I don't know. You lousy Marvel lot or something. I don't know. We'll go with that. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. It's me, Niall McGowan.
Oh, I didn't even know this was real. But we'll get to it. It.
I'm actually very curious to get... Oh, we'll get to it. We
will. But we are joined one final time here on this lovely, lovely Friday. I'm presuming it's lovely. It might actually be terrible. But we are joined once again by the greatest film critic of all, of course, Clarisse Loughrey.
Thank you.
Other than ourselves, of course.
I'll never call myself a film critic, John. I think that's... I don't have Clarisse's credentials for that.
Please make a t-shirt of the three of us as crickets.
Oh, yeah, like Jiminy Cricket style, though, with a little cane.
Yeah. Niall's our resident artist, so Niall,
yes,
knock
please.
that up.
No.
Or a listener can send mine. And we will make a t-shirt, put it on the TeePublic, and you can
Nice.
purchase away. But we are here to talk about minute 27. And the minute starts with the beginnings of a revolution. And it ends in a shivery sleepover. Looks fun.
Does it?
Maybe.
Oh.
But we are back as Ivy, you know. She says the truth, that the time has come for plants to take back the world so rightfully ours. She's gone full plant.
If you were into the COVID conspiracy circles, the Great Reset, it was all Pamela. It was Pamela all along.
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
Oh, no, she created COVID.
I mean, that's the only time I found that funny and not upsetting.
But now someone actually take that. I think it actually was Pamela the whole time. I saw a YouTube video that said it, so therefore it must be true.
I listened to a podcast that said it. Some guy called Niall.
Honestly, that whole thing is so brain broken, worms in the brain, that we probably could spread the rumor that Uma Thurman did it.
No. Oh my God. Yeah, people would buy it. In this day and age, that wouldn't surprise.
That's actually a weird thing. It's like Ivy's attire in this scene really reminded me of Raquel Welch in the famous poster for 10 million years BC. Yes. I wonder if was that a deliberate thing they're going for? It's like I don't know why you would make that connection.
But I guess it's like a classic, because you were saying that she based the accent off Mae West. Because it seems like a lot of the references for Poison Ivy are all looking backwards at like old. I maybe to make it less creepy. I mean, it doesn't work, but
the most shocking one is like we'll talk about it obviously when it comes up. But that the gorilla striptease that is a thing from like classic cinema.
Of course, yeah.
You're right. I think we're onto something here. See, my first thought was just like, well, okay, it's she's a sexy character who's also portrayed kind of strong. Maybe that's the connection.
I did also find out, though, in looking into this, like, is there some connection between Poison Ivy and Raquel Welch that I'm not seeing? And when they made that Batman versus Two-Face 60s throwback movie recently, where it was Adam West's final time playing Batman before he tragically passed, and William Shatner's in it as Two-Face. Actually, that's a shockingly good retelling of the Two-Face story. It's like all the silly 60s stuff there, but it's very emotional at times as well. It's kind of weird. But apparently they were considering putting Poison Ivy in there. On the short list was Anne Margaret and Raquel Welch to play the part. So I was like, oh, that's a bizarre coincidence right there. But then apparently they looked at the script and they're like, we've already got William Shatner. Like, we don't need to spend more money in getting other big actresses and other actors in here. So they just kind of figured like, oh, Shatner's enough. But yeah. So I mentioned in the other episode about Jason Woodrow's getting the world stoned scheme. And I'm pretty sure one of the things Poison Ivy picks up here is a bong. Like, she has this little dome thing with water in it, and it's a lit flame at the top. It's like,
it must be some science thing.
I'm sure that's probably what they're hoping you're thinking for censorship purposes or whatever. For like, it's a family movie, but
Well, the character would totally be smoking a bong, right?
Absolutely.
Or would she harm the plant, though?
oh. See, I imagine Jason Woodrow, he'd be smoking something, but I don't think he did not come across as a casual character. Like, he'd have been hardcore meth. Maybe he was on. Maybe that was what was happening with his mouth. Like, it wasn't anything to do with the poison kiss. That's meth mouth.
Oh, now I'm now like trying to figure out, would Ivy smoke, or would that harm the plant?
It's ingesting it back into her, though. It's like the cycle of life. Like everything, the plant is going into her, and then she breathes out into the oxygen, and the carbon dioxide goes into the trees, and then the trees, feed into the
and
plants.
it's from her god, Mother Nature.
Yeah, I think, yeah, she would be pro hemp and whatnot.
Yeah, because she has to eat plants.
Yeah.
Does she need to eat anymore? I don't know.
Well, I guess. But before, she definitely had to eat something.
I think Poison Ivy only eats the flesh of men. I think
I like that.
she's also full. Like, as we go now, the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy team up is just Hannibal now. It's like one of them's a cannibal.
Yes.
And the other one's just like, I think this person might be a cannibal, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh my god! Remake Hannibal, the TV show, with those two characters in their place. Oh yes, let's do
That'd be
it.
a weird crossover though, because Harley's the psychiatrist, but then it's Poison Ivy then's the cannibals. It's like you're kind of spreading Hannibal out over two people now.
Yeah, that's how you keep it different. You see?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so she's still just like trashing this place and like ruining a perfectly good bong, pouring some weird chemical onto the floor, which is highly flammable.
Burning
It's just-
plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's burning the whole place to the ground.
I think it would be weird then if afterwards you just found out like, oh yeah, there was a massive fire in that jungle, and so like many acres of land have been destroyed. And
Oh my God.
Poison Ivy's like, oops, I guess that was
The
me.
entire Amazon's gone. It's her fault.
So not only that, not to skip ahead too much, but at one point she's like, oh, we've got a plane to catch. It's like, a plane? Oh my God, you don't care at all about your carbon footprint, do you, Val? Like, Jesus Christ. You're like the Bono of supervillains here. You're so goddamn preachy, but you never enact it yourself, do you?
Hey, sometimes a plane ride is necessary if there are greater goods to be done.
Such as a U2 concert, apparently.
But she goes to smash one of the beakers and notices the Wayne Enterprises logo.
Oh yeah, it's very subtle acting there. The way she kind of smashed that.
Oh yeah,
beaker.
it looks totally natural. It doesn't. Yeah, but this is her like remembering and coming up with a plan, right? Because we know that she's aware of who funded this already. So this is kind of like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my boss.
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
I can go for Wayne. Yeah,
I'm taking this to the top.
If you didn't if you just saw this scene, you might be like, "Oh, she's realized who it is." It's like, no, but she already knows.
Unless it's like post-resurrection memory.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh yeah, that's right, I did work for a guy at one point.
Well, I suppose it's not at the forefront of her mind at the moment. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get a good fire going. Like,
This is true.
it takes time and effort.
Yeah, we've got Bane randomly screaming in the other room
Yeah.
for no reason. Just
Unless it is now, it's the throat clearing cough of like, I'm still here, like she's running around. It's like, does she know I'm here? Like, oh yeah, I hear you, lady.
Well, I love the way as well she's like, "Coming, Bane, darling. We've got a plane to catch." Because first off, she now knows somehow that she can command Bane.
And I guess it's a bit of a Chewbacca. I imagine like a Chewbacca thing. That, when he's like going like, ah, he's actually saying, hey, I would like to team up with you, Poison Ivy. What do you think? And she's like the only person who can understand him because she speaks Bane.
Yeah. Because it was Venom, and now they're linked by the Venom.
That's like he's been altered by animal plant toxins. So yeah, that makes sense that she does speak Bane.
There you go. That's their connection, and she knows. Like, you know what? He needs a mommy.
Although my bigger question about that scene is the distance between them, because they are in two different rooms, right?
Yeah.
And she does not raise her voice, but somehow he hears. Like, but she's...
They communicate through pheromones.
Yeah. I feel like maybe Joel Schumacher forgot spatial distance, but I'm sure it's the pheromones.
It's weird that he is in the exact same spot and exact same pose as we last saw him like 10 odd minutes ago. Yeah. Like, she has died and come back to life since, and the guy's not moved. Well, we're assuming, I'm still of the belief that he killed all those ununited nations people in that room. But either that or they're all getting on the same plane back to wherever. It's like, oh, it's going to be awkward.
Everyone's going together.
And that's my other thing I love. Bane on a plane, right? Not only does that sound fantastic.
I have had it up to here with these motherfucking Banes on this motherfucking plane.
Not only did I think of that, but also, like, we get to see Bane on a plane in a different film.
Oh, actually, the first friggin' time we see Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Nolan, he thinks he's so original. We know what he's doing.
He's like, he watched this and was like, what if we got to see Bane on that plane? Let's do it.
That was the one thing I was like, all I wanted to see was Bane on the plane. That whole goddamn movie. They never gave it to me. But actually, I've been speaking about like the classical attractiveness of actors. Of course, Clarisse, every season we went through. Season 1 was like, find out apparently Jack Nicholson isn't regarded as sexy. Last year,
we knew that. You didn't.
Then last year, freaking Chris O'Donnell was everyone's go-to hunk of the 90s and stuff. I have to ask this season, where do you land with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Because he to me strikes me as a very divisive figure. Because to me, like, he's more impressive looking in that he's like a man mountain, but I can't imagine everyone been like, "Ooh, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's the man for me."
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't get Arnold Schwarzenegger on any level. I get why other people like him, but I don't really like Terminator.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know it's a very controversial position to take, but I, growing up, was never into those, like... I was always a Harrison Ford person. Like, that to me is peak action star. Coolest guy on the planet is Harrison Ford. And so I never really watched all these 80s, like, puffed up, like, ultra muscle. Like, to me, that's not a vision of something cool or, like, I don't know.
The Terminator is one of the best things ever.
I know. I appreciate other people's love for Terminator, but it's never been a part of my life. But this is the thing, like, even Mr. Freeze, I get why people are obsessed with him in this movie. I'm not. I prefer Poison Ivy. I prefer what Uma Thurman's doing in this. For this, it's like, also because I'm not a huge puns person. And that's...
Oh, you definitely won't like Arnie then.
Exactly. That's kind of the only thing that he does in this movie, is that he just delivers puns in the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice.
It's the only thing he does in life.
That's true. In every movie. What am I saying? In every movie, and now, like, on social media when he's feeding his donkey, like, it's just the same.
Even beyond that, I saw an interview this week with Patrick Schwarzenegger, his kid. And the host was like, so does he do the puns around the house? He's like, yeah, every time. He's like, every time he leaves a room, he's like, I'll be back. It's like,
no.
Like the kids and their friends are constantly getting barraged with Arnie doing, like, don't wake my friend, he's dead, tired. Like, doing the old lines. And they're like, Dad, no one cares about this crap. But he's like, no, they used to love it back in the 80s.
I'd do that, though. If I was in a movie and I had a really famous line, I'd say it all the time.
Hell
I'd never
yes.
stop saying it.
We do then. We got from the image of fire to an image of, not ice, but, a snowman. Snowman's head here. We go to the Snowy Cones ice cream factory. We'll note straight outside as well, they do have a giant poison sign up in front, which I'm guessing is like a foreshadowing of the arrival of Poison Ivy. They're going to team up and whatnot. But it also does make me wonder, like, is this factory poisonous? Like, is that why it shut down? Was there like a nitroglycerin leak? Is that how they cool the ice cream? Like, how is an ice cream factory poisonous?
I've never ever remotely considered that. What the hell?
That's everything about this front is fascinating to me, because that's a snowman on meth right there. He's got meth teeth, like the board's been all kicked in, and he's got like one mouth. But it also looks as like the coal doesn't look like the mouth is already established in the carving, so the coal pieces that would be forming the shape of a mouth serve no purpose other than to make it look like he's got like a bit of a beard or something.
Beard, yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. Or it's just like a crappy. He's been eaten. He is a meth addict who's just like crammed stuff into his face. And
You're
stuff.
obsessed with this.
Well, this
Lay off the
feels
meth.
like a holdover from the Tim Burton movies. The idea that even a factory would have a themed front feels like a very Tim Burton idea. Because actual factories, it's not like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've
is.
ever seen one that has a theme.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they spent so much money on the theme. It's like, oh yeah, we had no production costs for the actual ice cream then afterwards. So the place they were literally selling poison ice cream.
That's
like,
why
yeah,
it was poison. We just ran out of money, so we put rat poison in the ice cream.
We'll also say though at the side, like I know this is one of those, like, it's just dirty mind, but like those ice cream cones with like the pink top and then the sort of flesh-colored tubing going down, it's very phallic. Like, and again, this movie is like, this is the movie, friggin' nipples in the suits, the 2 close-ups of butts within the friggin' opening minutes of the damn thing. I can't help but feel like Joel Schumacher's like, oh it's totally penises, but like, come on, let me have my fun with it.
I'd never considered that.
Also, they got all the lights on. It's like, if you're trying to hide out, everyone's going to be like, who's in there? Like, wouldn't have someone call the police and be like, someone's inside the old ice cream factory?
Yeah, and I imagine it's like an ice-themed villain. Like, you're not making an effort to conceal.
Oh, in saying that, though, the Riddler did have a giant question mark beamed across the bat symbol in the last movie, which would have led directly back to his hideout.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, well, people in Gotham are idiots. Like, they don't take a heed of anything.
It's kind of like the Zodiac Killer sending all those letters. So, like, please find me.
To this day, still.
I'm begging you.
That's the most frustrating thing in my life was in the cinema. That one bit of them interviewing Arthur Lee Allen during Zodiac. I was like, it's clearly him. What are you doing? Why can't you just arrest him? Like, no, not enough proof. No, sorry.
Oh, and that great with the David Fincher movie, and there's that great final shot where he goes to the shop and they like look at each other and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll never know. Sorry, this has nothing to do with Batman and Robin.
In the best way.
Yeah. But we'll say, though, I don't know how many years you spent in America, Clarisse, but, like, I know that the song that begins to play and the TV special they're showing, this is like a Rankin Bass production. This is from The Year Without a Santa Claus. And I know those Rankin and Bass things are huge in America, but I had never seen this. I watched it this week for research purposes. And like, were you familiar with this when you heard that music? You're like, I know exactly what that is.
No, but this is I've seen the Rudolph one, the movie, because that's the same people, right?
Oh yeah. They did a whole bunch of like 3 or 4 years straight of like, Rankin and Bass Christmas specials.
Yeah, I've seen. I have not seen the one that this song is in because this was new to me watching this movie, but I am familiar with them. They are the kind of. Yeah, it is interesting that different countries have certain films and specials that are repeated yearly. And like in the UK, I found it very strange moving to the UK, and The Great Escape shows every holiday period.
Yeah.
It's like, that's bank holiday, get The Great Escape on. That's what BBC Two was
It's
for.
really odd because it has nothing to do with Christmas. It's
It
about
doesn't matter.
World War II POW camps.
What's more uplifting than that?
There's nothing cheery about, but nobody like ends in quite a depressing way.
I just like to think it's they put on those really long movies, like you get like the Magnificent Seven, and remember in Ireland the show Gone with the Wind. I think it's just because the TV programmers and the people in the station want the day off too. So like, just play a movie that lasts all day. So like, The Great Escape, what's it, 3 hours? There you go. We got a 3-hour break. It's great.
That's what it is.
That's
They're like,
fair.
this'll fill time.
Yeah, but then in America, I think they're more strict about staying on theme, because it's like, yeah, those specials and A Christmas Story. Is that the name of the movie, right? With the lamp leg.
Yeah. I also saw that for the first time. I only watched it recently. I hated it. I actively hated it.
Yeah, I don't like it very much, but like they just play it constantly during the holidays in the US. But we growing up, the one that we always watched, like we didn't really watch stuff on TV. We watched The Bishop's Wife
No,
every
I don't think
single year.
I don't think I know that one.
It's just great. The plot is that there's a bishop and he's working too hard. So Cary Grant, the angel, comes in and seduces his wife to be like, haha, take better care of your family or I'm gonna your wife. Me, Cary Grant, angel. And there's an amazing sequence where the bishop gets stuck in the chair, and it's a really great movie, and it has the same charm as It's a Wonderful Life, that sort of like, you know, very Christmassy, like to, you know, take account of your life and take account of the people who love you. But I kind of prefer it to It's a Wonderful Life because this is a giant
Just like
tangent.
Cary Grant seducing.
Yeah,
people.
it's more simple, and I feel like It's a Wonderful Life. I love it, but I always hated the idea that he had to be a good guy to be worth saving. You know? Like, if you kind of been a shithead, would the angel with Clarence have just been like, all right, jump off? Nobody's gonna
Probably.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a fair
like,
point.
I think it would have been that's such a minor niggle to have, like, this very specific problem of the guy's too nice. But what I like about A Bishop's Wife is that it is more just whoever you are, appreciate the people in your life. Doesn't
I'm
matter
going
if
to
you're a
watch
super
this.
cool
This
guy.
sounds good. Because I've seen It's a Wonderful Life too many times. I never want to watch it again. Because, I mean, my ex's mum would make us go and watch it every single year in town. There's a theatre that shows it. And it's like, okay, yeah, it was good the first 2 times. But once you're at, like, the 6th year, the 7th year, it's like, do I need to watch it again?
Yeah. It's after you always get like some people were like, oh yeah, Die Hard every year. It's like, nah, you know, once every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies, but yeah, cool off.
I think my actually I must make note of that the Bishop's Wife 4 new thing to watch for Christmas.
same.
The one thing I did start watching was Desk Set with Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, because that's a low key Christmas movie.
yeah.
And it's really great, but then it was like watched it 3 years in a row, and it became like, you know, I've seen it already. Like it's overdoing it a little bit maybe. But this thing, actually, I will say I did watch the Year Without a Santa Claus just to see like, oh, what's the deal with this thing. And I actually really enjoyed it. You know, it was going in with like low expectations, like a 50-minute animated feature, and basically the plot line is that people don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. So 2 elves and Dixon, the reindeer, go into Earth to kind of see what's going on, and then Dixon's disguised as a dog, and the dog gets impounded. And so they go to Mrs. Claus has to step up and go like, for Christ's sake, I'll deal with this. She comes down, and then she goes to the mayor, and the mayor's like, I'll release the dog if you can make it snow in this town, because it's like a, you know, southern Texan town or something like that. It's like, it never snows here. So Mrs. Claus is like, well, we have to go to the warring brothers who live up and control the climates. One of them's called Snow Miser, and his rival brother is Heat Miser.
Oh.
And these 2 guys are constantly at war with each other because one wants to make it snow everywhere and the other one wants to make it warm everywhere and stuff. And eventually they actually have to go and get it sorted out with their mother, Mother Nature. She's the one who comes in and saves the day.
Poison
It's like,
Ivy.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, so this is the song. It's just called the Snow Miser song. And there is also a Heat Miser song that's like the counterbalance of this. And it's just a really catchy little tune too. Like this, I'm Mr. White Christmas, and this guy looks like John Pertwee comes out and dances around. And Snow Miser is voiced by an actor called Dick Shawn. He was in a whole bunch of things. Notably, he was the character of LSD in the original Producers, who was the guy they play, the hip cat guy they get to play Hitler in Springtime for Hitler. Okay. Of course, notably, Uma Thurman was in the remake of The Producers, so there you go. Everything's connected. He was also in the Emperor's New Clothes episode of Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh my god. I love that movie.
Me too.
Of course, Patreon listeners will know me and John covered Tim Burton's version of Aladdin from Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater. And it really irked me when they were promoting that Addams Family thing he's doing for Netflix. And on the poster, like, Tim Burton's TV debut.
That annoyed me.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? That's not his debut. Do your research, Netflix.
We spent nearly 3 hours talking about his goddamn TV debut.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's still all on YouTube, too, so if anyone's curious, check out Tim Burton's version of Aladdin. Mm-hmm. And that episode with Dick Shawn also featured Clive Revell, who, of course, original voice of the Emperor, and the original voice of Alfred in the Batman animated series.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. He was also in Captain EO, that weird...
Oh, my God. Who did he play in Captain EO?
I think I'm not too sure, because I've never seen Captain. I think, did it only play in Disneyland? Was that the whole pitch of it?
Yes.
It was only... See, I've never been to Disneyland, so tragically never seen it. I think it's actually all on YouTube now, so I probably could just go and watch it straight away.
Yeah, you can watch it now, because it's long gone from Disneyland. For good reason. It was not a good movie.
It's George Lucas written and Francis Ford Coppola directed, starring friggin' Michael Jackson. Like, it is that is a bizarre cultural oddity. Right
How
now.
could that not be gold? What are you talking about?
And Angelica Houston is in it as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully maybe someday someone will do Captain EO Minute. We can regroup this.
We're going to do it. I'm up for
like
it.
Go in sight unseen and just be like, what the hell is this thing?
I know you talked about the origins of this song, but did you see the remakes?
The thing is, I did see the remake, and things because I enjoyed the original so much, and then looking into it, and I was just like, I had no skin in this game, but I was really annoyed then because I saw the clip of the Snow Miser song from the remake, and I was just like, what?
Wait, which remake though? There's two.
I saw the one with Michael McKean. Plays Snow Miser, and then Harvey Fierstein.
Fierstein, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Of course, people might recognize Harvey Fierstein, of course, from the film Independence Day, which also starred Vivica A. Fox, who you might notice is in the background of this very scene.
Oh,
so,
everything's connected.
But I was outraged at that because that was the one that had like suddenly now Snow Miser and Heat Miser had like scantily clad dancers going around them, and it's all really. Yeah, they just sexied it up a bit. Only I did enjoy it at the end. Mother Nature is played by Carol Kane, who I'm always happy to see in anything. And of course, she played the Penguin's mother in the Gotham TV show.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. Also in Annie Hall with John Glover. There you go. Everything is connected. Well, if you go into Carol Kane, she's in friggin' everything. So you will get connected.
Well, that's the 2006 version, and only 2 years later they did another one.
Oh.
I know.
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's ridiculous, yeah. They did a 2008 version where you had George S. Irving as the Heat Miser again. And Juan, I'm going to mess this up, Juan Chorian as the Snow Miser. So I actually didn't listen to that version, though, because I was like, well, I've listened to two. I think I'm fine. It's a cool song, though. I do like it. It's catchy. It's funny. I love seeing Mr. Freeze here chilling. In his fuzzy...
At least somebody's having a good time during this.
In his fuzzy polar bear slippers, he's living the life.
He almost seems like he wants to be living the life, but I think he is just exasperated by, like, this seems like after a year of quarantine, this is like a guy who's fed up with Zoom quizzes. We're having karaoke night, damn it. And this bizarre scenario where he's forcing his henchmen to do a sing-along to a song they clearly don't want to do.
Yeah. We've all been there, though, in both sides of this, I think. I've been the person forced to do crap I don't want to do, and I've also been the person like, desperately trying to get people involved in something that I'm enjoying. Like, come on, God damn it, come on. Because this gang are here, they're freezing to death. They're not interested. It's hilarious. But I will say one thing. I think that to the first-time viewer, this right here, this scene is probably the point of no return.
I will say, John, as a 10-year-old boy, like I mentioned on the air before, like this Batman Robin was the film that introduced the concept to me that films could be bad. And you're 10, you're like, everything's great.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? Why would they make a bad Batman movie?
And when a new movie comes out, it's like, well, this is the best one because it's the new one.
Yeah. And I remember, like, I saw it in the cinema, and I was like, oh, it's great, because I was just hopped up on the hype. And I even remember distinctly, like, seeing, like, advertisements for the VHS in magazines and noticing on the side they had, you usually just get the title, but they had pictures of everyone's face along the side, and I thought that was so cool. And I remember saying to my parents, like, I don't care about any other Christmas presents. I just want the Batman and Robin VHS. That's the most important. Please get that for me. And I think even my mom going like, what the hell's the matter with you? Like, why? Okay, yeah, we'll get it for you. And stuck it in Christmas morning, so excited again. And I think it was this minute where I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is kind of stupid.
I can see it. I think this is the bit where, for better or worse, you know the direction the movie's heading now without question. It's not going to suddenly flip a different way. You're like, oh, it's only going to amp up in the path it has been heading. So I think that if you're not enjoying it, this is the bit where you're like, I'm out.
Yeah. It's still, even to this day, it's just like, it's so many questions pop up about it too. It's like, why is he doing this to these people? Like, why is he enforcing a karaoke amongst a group of what do they eat? Like, they're eating frozen dinners that
they're literally frozen.
Yeah, and there's like, I guess they're trying to eat them like they're ice lollies, basically. I was like, well, it's gonna be frozen. What is it? Like a curry or something?
It's
What
a
the hell is
TV
happening?
dinner, isn't it? Because it's got the compartments. I'm really obsessed with TV dinners. I don't know, the whole concept is fascinating to me.
They're cool. They were never really a thing here that I know of, but I know them from film and TV and stuff. From TV. And I did, when I lived abroad, I went to an American school. So the lunches were served in trays exactly like this.
So good. And it's like the whole meal, because you've got the meat and the veg and the dessert as well, would all come in one thing. And part of my brain's really soothed by that, because I get very stressed out about like what to eat.
Yeah,
I'm constantly stressed out about that, and the concept of like, oh, you just take the box, you put the box in the oven, and then you take it out, and then you eat it. Love
that.
that.
You got everything you need.
I just instantly go to the Krusty the Clown bit, though, of like, oh, the TV dinners, lightning strikes, the peach cobbler goes out. Like, that's all I know about them. Although I should say, Clarisse, because recently was Star Wars Day, not too long back. I saw you made stuff from the Star Wars cookbook. Was it any good in the end?
It's really good. So I got a cookbook that I was incredibly lucky, and I got to go to Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars themed land at Disneyland, and I had blue milk there, and it was like the most. Well, it was, because I never in my life would I have thought that I could have drunk blue milk. And I was so excited by the thought that I really wanted to make it at home. And I found this cookbook that basically has the recipes for a lot of the stuff that they sell at this park. And it's all like, make a thing, but add blue food dye or some weird food dye to it. But it's delicious. Yeah, and I made the bread from Force Awakens, the portion bread that Rey.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you can't do it so that it rises automatically, but it looks the same, and it tastes really good. It tastes kind of like a soda bread.
I love soda bread.
A little bit like that. It's delicious. I would recommend everyone to go make portion bread.
Yeah.
And blue
so
milk.
Rey was just living a life in that abandoned
It really was.
Well, I know that Star Wars Minute had a thing where they mixed the blue milk and the green milk from Galaxy's Edge into one, and it was a cocktail they decided called a Sebulba.
The Sebulba. I did also have the green milk, and somehow they taste different, and I don't know how, because you think it's just food dye, but there's different ingredients.
Green tastes different to blue.
Yeah. I love not knowing. Like you taste something, you're like, I don't know what this is, but it's nice.
That was very much experience, because I was like, it tastes a bit like Fruit Loops, but it can't be that.
Probably
no
is
way
in a
that-
blender. Just blend them all up.
Just blend a bunch of cereal, shove it into a glass, and be like, yes, it's the space milk.
Yeah, no one will know. It's fine.
One slightly dodgy thing in this scene is this was pointed out, I think, by Kevin Smith at one point. He was talking about Batman and Robin, and he's saying, like, look at those guys and notice that their mouths are not syncing to the lyrics at all. They're just kind of going rah, 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 rah. And apparently that's because if they were to sing along accurately to the song, they would be classed as featured extras instead of just general extras, and so you would have to pay them more. And so this is just make them go like blah, 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 and then you don't have to pay them as much. And that is, as nice a guy as Joel Schumacher is, I was like, oh, come on, man, Jesus Christ, maybe that's why they look so angry. They're just like, we could have got like a nice little bonus out of this, but nope. He's got to sit and just shiver like a doofus. And
That's amazing. I love it. It's awful, but I love it.
Yeah, I do one thing I love from this scene is the robe that he's wearing. I would love to have that, because it's sort of like a silky pale blue with like velvet or velour embossed polar bears on it, and that's very much my style. I was watching it, I was going, oh.
yeah,
Where can I get
I would not be
that?
surprised if Arnie was like, yes, I want that robe as well.
Yeah, he wears it every morning. And those slippers, they're still intact.
Yeah, hasn't put them in the washing machine yet, though. They still got the stink of 97.
Oh, when you want to get that smell going, when you put your feet into those, you want that to just waft up and remind you of glories past.
I am torn between, this looks like a really comfortable outfit, but I think my ultimate comfort outfit from this franchise is Oswald Cobblepot's little Roy Fauntleroy onesie,
Yeah.
and the Doc Martens and the big fur coat. That's just like, that's a great look. I would wear that every day if I could.
I'm wearing it
Put
now.
the top hat on top of it, even better. Fantastic. But this is close. This is getting like, that looks like it's a pretty sweet. It's just the formality though of the cravat and the little diamond in it. It's like, it's a little too fancy, because I don't feel you could be totally relaxed.
You're a fan of Frasier. You should like fancy.
I do. I would wear that if someone came around. But like, if it was just me in the house by myself, I was like, I can't relax with a diamond cravat on. I'd have to whip it off.
That's true.
But the Oswald Cobblepot onesie, that thing looks like it's been through some stuff. Like, he doesn't care about it. And he's wearing that every goddamn day of the week. So it's like, that's something you can be comfortable in and confident that, hey, what do I care if it gets dirty? But anywho. We do think, does anyone have any more minutes for minute 27 in particular?
No, I'm noted out.
We do see Misbehaving in the background there, but we're going to be talking about her next minute in a big, big bad way. But of course, this season, we task the guests, Clarisse, because Batman and Robin is revered as one of the worst films ever made, asking the guests what they believe the worst film they've ever seen is. And like, not so much in a, The Room, it's hilariously bad kind of way. Like, something that you genuinely found heinous and disgusted that you actually had to watch.
Well, the thing is, I've watched a lot of movies, for work that are just outrightly offensive, racist or sexist, which doesn't feel like a fun answer though. But when you asked that, I immediately thought I just have this really, I know this movie is quite offensive as well, but I have this really vivid memory of my parents renting The Last Samurai at Blockbuster, and the absolute blind rage I felt as a teenager watching that film. Like, the absolute audacity of this white man coming in and he gets to be the last samurai. I remember being so angry that I cried. I cried at the end because Tom Cruise wasn't dead. Which is not a thing against Tom Cruise. I was so angry. I was like, why does he get to be the last? Why does he get to live?
Yeah.
And that has forever stayed with me. I've never rewatched it. I've not gone back to it. And maybe if I rewatch it now, I wouldn't feel as... I don't know. I think maybe it was like my first the first time I watched a film with that sort of like blatant white savior narrative. Maybe I think it was the first time I'd seen something like that, and my like little teenage brain was like, "What? This doesn't seem right." So I don't know why that's the one I've seen many worse films. There's so many others that's a million times worse. But I for some reason I just remember The Last Samurai.
Put it down on the board.
Yeah.
The current winner, we've only had one that's come up twice, and it's Crash, the Paul Haggis movie. It's like, I did not expect
that would be one of my other answers.
It's very hated, apparently. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, but again, it's like I didn't want to bring it up because it's just depressing to talk about, like how bad it is and how wildly offensive.
The Last Samurai, though, like I have never watched it because of what you're saying. Like I'm someone who loves Japanese things, as I've brought up earlier in the week. So the very idea of this film to me was like, what? I'm not watching that. So I still to this day haven't put it on because I know I'm going to get angry.
I'm sorry, spoilers for The Last Samurai. It's Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah, what a surprise. Oh.
and
I do kind of want to
else.
see now, though, like a new like Blu-ray release, and it to have like, I was sad at the end when Tom Cruise wasn't dead.
I remember actual
Stroke Clarisse
tears.
Loughrey, the Independent.
Actual tears coming out of my eyes because I just was like, die. And I remember muttering under my breath going, die. Just die. My parents must have thought I was really going through something.
I guess I was like Nicole Kidman during those divorce proceedings at the time. She was like, I was sad at the end when Tom Cruise wasn't dead.
Maybe I was just channeling her spirit.
Oh my God.
At that point Nicole Kidman has been my favorite actress since age 13 or maybe even 12. I saw the others and I was like, she's the greatest human. And I've been
That is a classic.
obsessed with her ever since.
And you were on last season during the bat pectoral caress.
During one of her many iconic moments.
Yeah, that was the scene I did not expect. Like that scene has got some fans. Let me tell you, we got a reaction when that episode went up. Where I was like, apparently it awakened something in a lot of people.
It's the Nicole Kidman effect. She's just that powerful.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
But also then to spin it and go into a positive direction, we're also asking guests about a film that is renowned as being bad that you actually personally love, because a lot of people, of course, really love Batman and Robin as well. So
yes, well, I often get in trouble because of my severe love of Alien Covenant.
Oh my word!
I did not expect that to come out.
No, I can defend Prometheus, but come on.
Oh, I love Alien Covenant. So my reasoning for it is because I went to see it with my friend who's also a huge Alien fan, and I'm a big Alien fan. The first one, not so much the other ones. and I just remember us sitting in the cinema together, like giggling with delight. Because of that sequence when the xenomorph or the little neomorph comes out of the dude's spine and everybody panics, right?
Yeah.
And there's that scene where the woman locks the door and there's still somebody in there. And then Noki be like, what the fuck are you doing? Let me out. She's like, I don't know what to do. There's a thing in there. And then she like... I try to remember the sequence of events because it's hilarious. And then she like opens the door but gets this foot smashed in it, and she's crawling over, and then somebody tries to shoot the neomorph, but the neomorph is crawling across the gas canisters, so she blows the entire ship up. And then they're all out in the grass, and the little xenomorph is running around, and they're all just shooting wildly into the grass. And like, I love that sequence because for me, I'm like, that's the most realistic representation of how humans would react to that type of situation. And, you know, the original Alien has elements of that, like the chest burster scene. I really like how the reactions are it's pure blind panic, and people aren't making the best decisions in that movie. I think that's my problem with Aliens. It's suddenly you've got the Marines, and I mean, they don't always make the best decisions, but, you know, they're a little more like, but they're all kind of like going out with their guns blazing, and it's all very cool. And like, for me, Alien is about human failure. It's like, imagine, it's the whole thing about the xenomorph being the perfect organism. And imagine something that's so much smarter and faster and better than you. Like, you cannot defeat that.
Yeah.
But yeah, has anyone got any parting words to say about minute 27 or Batman and Robin in general?
No, I just say go watch Alien Covenant. give it a shot.
Well,
give it a chance.
Go do that. And would you like to remind people one more time where you can be found online?
Yes, I won't repeat the list of podcasts, but everything can be found on Twitter at Clarisse Loughrey.
Check them all out, though, everybody. Make sure to join us again next week. Sadly, Clarisse won't be with us, but we will have new episodes and a new guest here on Bat Minute and Robin.
Next time, holy frozen flirtation. Putting his shivering symphony aside and citing it as a loss, a stogie-sucking icicle is pursued by a vivacious fox. The coquettish accomplice attempts to adulate and allure our austere Austrian, but can the snowman say, "No, ma'am, I tried," and terminate attempts to crack his cold constitution? I can't do an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent, I'm sorry, everyone. This disastrous dalliance will be discussed come Monday, dear Batmites. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
We'll be back.